It's Tuesday, March the 3rd. Today, alleged assault caught on camera. The violent detention inside a Winnipeg store. What the security company is saying in response as video of the incident circulates. Also, worried and hopeful. Mixed emotions from Manitoba's Iranian community following attacks on their home country and the death of Iran's supreme leader. Plus, a major development in Stonewall. What's in store for the community as officials unveil a sweeping plan to add businesses and hundreds of homes. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday to you. It is 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Ainsley McDowell is live with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this morning. Their brand new production is coming up. Of course, Sleeping Beauty is just about a week and a half away. Nice. So we're going to get a sneak peek on the production itself, meet some of the dancers and, of course, the artistic director, and a little bit more about what we can expect for the show and the rest of the season. But the weather yesterday, Terry, went for a walk last night. It was beautiful.
Wasn't it, though?
What a change.
Oh, it felt like spring, especially coming off of that intense weekend that we just had where we were stuck in the deep freeze. Yes, yesterday felt like spring. It's not going to feel like that today. It's not going to be as cold as the weekend was, but it won't be anywhere near as balmy as yesterday either. We've slipped overnight down to minus 14, which, by the way, is a normal low for this time of year. So bang on seasonal temperatures to begin the day, but a bit of a breeze to go with it. Those winds this morning out of the northeast are gusting to 28 kilometers per hour, and as a result, minus 14 feels like minus 22. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 81%. I was trying to see the moon this morning. I know we talked in the past couple of days about the full moon and the moon eclipse this morning. Well, it clouded over just as that eclipse was about to happen. In fact, stay tuned for our weather picture because one of our viewers got the very beginnings of the lunar eclipse before it clouded over. But yeah, now we're just looking at clouds so heavy that I couldn't even see the moon itself. And when it's full and bright, sometimes you can at least see a bit of a glow in the sky where it is, but I couldn't this morning. That being said, I was also coming in as that eclipse was happening, so maybe that's what was going on. Either way, didn't see much. We might get some clearing today. Too little, too late, though. We'll see a bit more sunshine as those clouds move on out of the way. It would have been nice to have those clouds out of the way as all that activity was happening in the sky, but we can enjoy the activity of the sunshine later today. A little bit of flurry activity that'll be passing through central Manitoba, northern Manitoba. Clear once again. Extreme cold warnings remain in place over northern Manitoba with those wind chill values in the high minus 40s and low minus 50s. We're a little bit colder, but nothing extreme about it. Minus 8 are high for the next couple of days. When minus 4 is normal, we'll get back to those more normal temperatures, and it does still look like there's a great big warm-up waiting for us this weekend.
Thank you, Terry. First Nation groups are demanding answers after a video surfaced showing a security guard allegedly beating a shoplifting suspect over the weekend. CTV's Danton Unger reports, and a warning to viewers, the video in the story is disturbing.
A violent incident captured on camera inside a downtown Winnipeg Dollarama.
Stay down!
In the video posted on social media, a security guard who at one point appears to be wearing a brass knuckles type weapon is seen punching and stomping on a man.
What do you think you are?
The Winnipeg Police Service's Major Crimes Unit is now investigating this video. Police say the altercation started Saturday afternoon at the Dollarama when a security guard intervened in an alleged theft. Police say a 46-year-old man is now facing charges of robbery and uttering threats, though the charges have not been tested in court.
It is very disturbing.
Manitoba Kiwatinowi Okamakinak Grand Chief Garrison Settee condemned the actions against the man, who he says appears to be Indigenous.
It makes me angry, as a matter of fact, that our people are subject to that kind of violence, and that is simply that's what it is. It was a violent assault, and even when theft is suspected, that kind of violence is never justified.
Those thoughts echoed as dozens rallied outside the Dollarama, which was temporarily closed Monday afternoon.
We don't want to be the goon security company.
Impact Security Group President and CEO Ron Derrico confirmed the guard involved is an Impact Security employee and has been removed from active duty. He says the guard acted out of scope of his training.
Every officer is given training. They are taught use of force. They are taught how to comply with arrest procedures. Why this went off the rails, I can't answer that. I don't know what this individual was thinking.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Dollarama tells CTV News, "We do not authorize the use of force in any situation," adding further it's putting the security firm on notice and is cooperating with the investigation. But First Nation leaders want answers and are calling for the province to step in.
We think it was definitely an excessive use of force. If you see in the video, you don't really see the individual being aggressive in any way. And yet he continued to be assaulted.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Southern Chiefs Organization MKO and the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs have all called for an independent review under the province's Private Investigators and Security Guards Act. Justice Minister Matt Wiebe tells CTV News the province is already working to modernize the 40-hour security guard training program and develop a new code of conduct, noting the importance of cultural sensitivity in the work of security guards. The province confirms in this case the guard's license has been suspended. A Portage la Prairie family is sharing its heartbreak after a 12-year-old boy died in a weekend house fire. And a warning, some details may be difficult to hear.
They're just, all they're doing is crying, and they're very, very, very hurt and lost.
Clint McIver says his nephew Alexander Bollier Jr. was killed in Sunday's fire at his family's home. McIver says his sister and her husband were home with 5 of their children when the blaze broke out. He says Bollier was trapped in his bedroom and the doorknob broke off when his father tried to rescue him. The rest of the family was able to escape through a window, but they were unable to save the boy.
There was a window on the outside, and they busted the window, but it was too small. And my brother-in-law was holding his hand, and he said, "Don't worry, we'll get you out, we'll get you out." And he was just crying and screaming, and he was holding his hand, and then he had asthma, and he just collapsed.
McIver describes his nephew as a kind boy who loved to play video games and be with his family. All of the family's belongings were lost in the fire. McIver says the Canadian Red Cross is helping, but donations of food and other necessities are still needed. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Flooding at the downtown police headquarters last month did some serious damage. A city spokesperson tells CTV News a complete assessment is still ongoing, but says damages will likely exceed $1 million. Parts of the police station flooded on Valentine's Day after 2 people allegedly opened several emergency water supply valves in the stairwells of the adjoining building. Police previously said flood damage spanned from the 4th floor to the basement. 2 people were charged with mischief-related offenses in connection with the incident. The city spokesperson added the headquarters sustained more water damage Sunday due to equipment malfunction. Meantime, the Winnipeg Police Service has gone over its books and is reporting it's actually under budget for the year 2025. According to a new report to the police board, the service was actually $10 million over budget for a number of different provincially funded initiatives last year. However, the report says it was offset by revenue of the same value. In addition, police found $2 million in overtime savings. And while there were fewer total tickets issued, there was an increase in photo radar tickets in construction zones combined with other savings. Winnipeg Police ended the 2025 fiscal year $1.7 million under budget. The La Jumadière overpass project is on time and currently on budget. But a new report reveals there isn't much money left if the project goes over budget. The entire project is expected to cost just over $51 million. However, a new report says bids for the project were higher than expected, meaning construction costs are about $6.2 million higher than initially predicted. It says other funding streams will need to be secured if unexpected costs come up. Work is currently underway on the southbound part of the bridge, with drainage work starting in the spring. The entire project is expected to wrap up by the fall of 2027. You can learn new skills and meet new people, all while helping out at one of Winnipeg's most popular destinations this summer. The Assiniboine Park Conservancy is looking for volunteers to fill a wide range of roles at the park and zoo. That includes as ambassadors, visitor services, special events assistants, and more. There's even roles geared towards teens. It's worth noting volunteers are not involved in the feeding or handling of animals. The application deadline is May 31st. You can learn more and apply by visiting assiniboinepark.ca. Here's a look now at what's going on in traffic on McPhillip Street. Things are quite light starting off this Tuesday morning. Things are moving well to start. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. This production's called Sleeping Beauty. And no, it's not about your ladies at CTV's Your Morning. It is Tchaikovsky's iconic score. Don't look at the spelling of that. Just say it out loud. And Christopher Stoll is the artistic director, but it's for his first time doing the choreography for this, even though it's a long-standing production with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Throughout the morning, we're going to be doing a look ahead. So we're going to be talking about the Four Seasons, which is their season's finale production. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be chatting with two of the dancers, including Aurora, who is the lead, and a gentleman who hails from Italy. So I believe he's from Milan, and he's going to be coming here, and he's a dancer. So stay with us. It's really exciting. On the dates, March 12th to 15th, and I hear that they're selling fast, so you're going to want to go get those tickets.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a lot cooler today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, you're telling me. It really is. Yesterday, we were right up around the freezing mark. It was beautiful. It was balmy. It felt like spring. Today is a little bit colder, so it's not going to be that shockingly balmy day that we had yesterday, but it's also not going to be that shockingly cold day or days that we experienced this past weekend. It's a right in between Goldilocks kind of take your porridge at that perfect temperature kind of day. So it is going to be perfect for your wintertime activities, whether that be a skate on the river trail or going out for a ski or just out walking the dog. Throw the layers on, you'll want them, but it will be quite pleasant. Minus 13 is where we're sitting right now. It's already starting to warm up. Minus 21K wind chill value once you're factoring in that 17K wind out of the northeast. The pressure falling, humidity at 81%, and yes, still dealing with these heavier clouds that moved in just ahead of that full moon eclipse this morning. And so that moon is still tucked behind the clouds, not seeing it at this time, but the clouds aren't likely to last through the day. They'll be clearing somewhat over the course of the morning, and we will in fact enjoy a little bit of that sunshine here throughout the south. Northern Manitoba also clear, but under extreme cold warnings. It's the central part of the province where the clouds will linger, and you're likely to see a little bit of light snow as well. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. A Winnipeg man is in custody following a federal RCMP investigation into death threats made against Prime Minister Mark Carney on social media. The investigation started in mid-January after a user on X, formerly known as Twitter, allegedly posted threats towards the Prime Minister and incendiary messages about Jewish and Muslim communities. A 55-year-old man was arrested February 13th. RCMP say he's facing 3 counts of uttering death threats. He remains in custody and has a court date set for next Friday. Iranian Manitobans are worried about their loved ones, but also hopeful major change is coming. A joint U.S. and Israeli military campaign is underway against the Middle Eastern country. But as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, not everyone is in support of the attack.
A deadly attack in the opening moments of the joint operation in Iran by U.S. and Israeli forces brought an end to the rule of leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Maya Masheed Ratspice is an Iranian Manitoban living in Thompson. She says watching the conflict unfold has brought a mix of emotions. She's hopeful for a free and democratic Iran, but also worried for her loved ones back home.
I hope they're safe. And I hope very soon we celebrate the freedom of our country together in Iran.
Over the weekend, several demonstrations were held throughout Winnipeg. On Saturday, some in the Iranian community supporting the exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi held a car rally at CF Polo Park supporting the attack.
We were very worried about the people of Iran fighting this fight alone. They have been killed. Maybe all of the killings would have been, prevented if this had happened sooner.
When Khamenei's death was reported by Israeli officials early Saturday afternoon, a brief cheer erupts. On Sunday, however, a protest took place in front of the U.S. consulate, organized by Peace Alliance Winnipeg, condemning the military attack.
It's very easy to say that, okay, this is a state with a totalitarian government, and that could very well be, but that doesn't mean that we have a right as the West to go in and install our puppet governments.
With the future of Iran very uncertain, people like Mohammed Soleiman Nejad say the days ahead will be tense.
So when someone asks them, how are you? The answer is not as simple as I'm good or bad, because the amount of stress and pressure that is on them is absolutely crazy.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
There are some Canadian military personnel in the Middle East, but Canada's defense minister says they are out of harm's way.
Canadians know this is a difficult, complicated, and unfortunate situation. We would all rather see peaceful dialogue.
Defense Minister David McGuinty didn't say exactly how many Canadian personnel are in the region. He is in Sydney, Australia, on a business trip with Prime Minister Mark Carney. McGuinty says the Canadian government decided from the beginning to support the attack that took out Iran's supreme leader, but is also calling for a diplomatic end to the conflict. Despite criticism from the White House, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is standing by his decision not to participate in strikes against Iran.
President Trump has expressed his disagreement with our decision not to get involved in the initial strikes. But it is my duty to judge what is in Britain's national interest.
Starmer says the best way forward is a negotiated settlement. However, Britain has allowed the U.S. military to use U.K. bases in the region for defensive purposes. A drone strike did hit a British airbase in Cyprus, but there are no casualties and limited damage. Iran's place at this summer's FIFA World Cup is now in question. Iran was set to play its 3 group stage matches in the U.S., 2 in California and 1 in Seattle. Now, Iran's top soccer official says he's not hopeful about the event. It's not clear if Iran's Soccer Federation will refuse to send its team or if the U.S. government will block Iran from participating. FIFA has declined to comment, saying it will monitor developments. We're getting a better idea of how blowing snow, low visibility, and ice last Friday affected travel conditions for Manitobans. 277 collisions were reported to Manitoba Public Insurance Friday. 187 of those took place in Winnipeg. MPI is reminding drivers to adjust their habits to adverse weather conditions, including slowing down, leaving more following distance, and avoiding travel altogether when possible. Talk about a high-pressure business pitch.
When the pressure's on, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training.
You've heard of the polar bear dip. This is polar bear pitching. In Finland, business owners take turns stepping into freezing water to give their pitch for an investment. This was the 10th year of the competition. The top prize of €10,000 went to a startup called Ionic Wind. This company develops cooling technology. It's quite fitting. Here's some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush on Alexander Avenue, the eastbound and westbound curb lanes will be closed from Laura to Ellen Street. The northbound curb lane on St. Anne's Road will be closed between Fermor to Regal Avenue, and the southbound curb lane on Lily Street will be closed from Alexander to Pacific Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips, send us a text, please.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Unfortunately, this morning we had some heavier clouds moving in right over the city right as that lunar eclipse was about to take place. So didn't really get to see much, I imagine, for a lot of people that perhaps had that on their wish list this morning. But those heavier clouds have made just a nice little blanket of insulation that we're already beginning to warm up, and that sun is still an hour away from rising. Less than, but close. Anyway, we're at minus 13. We were at minus 14 last hour. Still sitting at those minus 14s, Gimli, Portage, Brandon. That, by the way, is a seasonal low temperature. So bang on what is normal for this time of year. Milder off in Kenora, minus 8 right now. And then we've got these mid to high minus teens through the more central part, and then pushing into those low to mid to high minus 20s, and then further up into the north where it's clear and it's colder yet, and you've got those minus 30s actual temperature this morning, feeling in the minus 40s once you're factoring in those winds. So those wind chill values have prompted the extreme cold warnings to be issued once again throughout much of northern Manitoba. Here in the south, it's not going to be the balmy day that it was yesterday, but it's not going to be as cold as it was over the weekend, or anywhere near as cold as what northern Manitoba is going to experience. We do have these extra clouds for now. They should be clearing somewhat throughout the day today to a mix of sun and cloud. The temperature rising, just not drastically so, and not even to seasonal values, in fact. So -4 would be a normal daytime high, and we're not going to get there today. -13 as kids get settled into the classroom. -9 through the noon hour, -8. That's where we'll probably top out today, a few degrees shy of seasonal. That'll be the case tomorrow as well, but at least a bit of sunshine to enjoy. Warming up a little more toward the latter part of the week, and then the weekend comes the great big warm up when those temperatures will be pushing up into the plus digits and well above what you would expect. So this is all we got to see of the eclipse here in Winnipeg. Kat was out early this morning. She said she managed to capture this just before it completely clouded over, and that was the end of that. But a great timed shot, Catherine. Thank you for, or Kat, pardon me, thanks for sharing this with us. And keep the photos coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Good luck. British Columbians will spring forward for the last time on Sunday, ditching future time changes and permanently adopting daylight saving time. CTV's Sinjin Alexander on what it means for the province and how residents are reacting.
The government figured this would be a popular announcement, so much they included a dance portion. One more time, we will have to move those clocks forward to daylight saving and never change them again.
We all have that microwave or that oven or something that you got to manually plug in the time change. And we won't have to do that anymore.
The twice-yearly switch has long been bemoaned by the public. So this appears to be a welcome surprise.
I'm so happy about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Great. It's unnecessary. So I'm glad they did that.
Yet it's surprising, because for years the government said this couldn't be done until the United States did it too. Apparently not anymore.
And we're also going to make decisions right now where British Columbia decides what's best for us.
Maybe we care less about whether the Americans are aligned with us these days anyway.
It's certainly been a long time coming. Way back in 2017, CTV News asked then Premier John Horgan what he thought about getting rid of the time change.
I haven't felt a groundswell. No one's filling my inbox.
It wasn't on his radar, but he was open to the idea.
Send me an email. I asked people to send me an email, and they've been doing that.
Then came a public consultation and legislation. Essentially, BC has been ready to control time for years.
I live for the spring forward, because all of a sudden we get an extra hour of sunlight at night.
Which brings us to another surprise. Scientists and doctors are all for canceling the time change because it's safer. There are fewer crashes and injuries, but have long argued standard time, that's when mornings are brighter and nights are shorter, is the better option because it's better for our health.
You need to have that light in the morning to reset your circadian rhythms.
Even so, the government believes this is what the public wants. BC will now have a new time zone, and small and large businesses will have all summer to adapt.
Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Here's a look outside right now on the Provencher Bridge. Looks like things are moving well over here. We'll be right back after this break. Daylight saving is happening on Sunday already. It's hard to believe we're here.
How quickly that sneaks up on us, right?
Exactly. We're all a little shocked.
It's funny that we say how quickly that snuck up on us after we were just talking in the commercial break that it was the longest February ever.
It was.
So some things feel like they take forever, and other things, oh, look, it's already daylight saving. So yes, that'll be this Sunday. Remember to change your clocks. Don't be changing them yet. we've still got a few more days to go. Here's the thing out there this morning. You're going to be reaching maybe for those bigger layers again. It's slightly cooler today than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was that day that we were peeling off the parka. Beautiful and balmy. And then, of course, things have to change. So here we are back to normal for this time of year with the temperatures that we're having this morning, but they're not going to be rising much throughout the day today, and that'll actually keep us slightly below seasonal. It's currently -13 with a northeast wind, 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 81%. There's also a few extra clouds out there this morning that just moved in ahead of that lunar eclipse that I know a lot of people were excited to see this morning. The moon is full, but the clouds so heavy that you can't even really see the glow of the moon behind those clouds. Those clouds through central and southern Manitoba, but for northern Manitoba, not at all the case. You can see how clear it is. It's also very cold. Extreme cold warnings in place throughout northern Manitoba as you're waking up to wind chill values in those low to mid -40s. We are expecting to see things warming up, just not quite to seasonal values, even though our overnight lows here in the south are back to normal for this time of year, but a normal daytime high, that would be around -4. Instead, we'll likely top out at about -8, but we should be seeing these clouds clearing out and a little bit of sunshine to enjoy today, and then dropping off to -11 overnight and back up to -8 tomorrow. So a couple of days slightly below seasonal, but then it warms up toward the latter part of the week. Not that it needs to warm up much. I mean, -8 isn't exactly cold. It's just a little bit colder than normal. But the rest of the week will be pretty much bang on what you would expect this time of year. Not the case this weekend, but the exact opposite of this past weekend. Headed up above the freezing mark. It's going to be balmy all over again.
A North End grocery store has gone up in flames. Crews found heavy smoke and flames coming from Bannerman Grocery when they arrived shortly before 7:30 Monday morning. They launched an exterior attack using an aerial ladder and hand lines to pour water on the fire. Neighboring houses were evacuated as a precaution. The building sustained severe damage and will be torn down. The city says it was vacant and had been damaged by a previous fire last month. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. A major expansion is planned for Stonewall. A new Red River co-op and hundreds of new homes are in the works for 50 acres of land on the eastern side of town. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, the mayor says it will help keep money in the bedroom community.
There's not much to see on this snow-covered field on Stonewall's eastern edge, but one day soon, businesses and hundreds of housing units could rise here.
We don't want to see our dollars going down the highway.
The town of Stonewall has announced Whiteland Real Estate is planning a mixed-use project known as the Quarry District on 50 acres of land. The $40 million Phase 1 portion will see a brand new 26,000 square foot Red River Co-op as the anchor tenant for the development. Other commercial outlets will follow. And then a future phase will have 500 residential units, which could include single-family and seniors housing.
I believe that having that residential growth will not only attract people here, but also keep people here.
Stonewall Mayor Sandra Smith calls this a transformative investment. She hopes new businesses will keep people shopping locally, away from the allure of Winnipeg, which is just minutes away.
Well, we do have a main core of businesses here. This just gives that additional layer where people don't have to leave as much as they do now.
Corrine Pollock welcomes a bigger and better grocery store and the new housing.
It's hard. I think it's hard out here to find housing, so it's a good idea to expand.
Not everyone is as excited about expansion. David Jennings says he's not in favor of a project of this size.
It is a small knit community, and making it bigger is just going to take away from that.
We believe those challenges can be met through proper planning, and we're taking a real hard look at how we maintain the integrity and the character of our town.
Construction could begin shortly. The mayor says shovels could hit the ground here by spring. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Stonewall.
According to the mayor, the town is on the hook for just over $1 million for water, sewer, and drainage services as part of a cost-sharing agreement. Consumers in Ontario and Nova Scotia can now buy alcohol directly from producers in each province.
Because unlocking free trade within Canada is one of the best ways that we can build a stronger, more united, more competitive, and more resilient Canadian economy.
The agreement, a first of its kind, was made between Premier Doug Ford and Tim Houston as a way to increase internal trade within Canada during an ongoing U.S. trade war. Residents of Nova Scotia will be able to easily buy Ontario craft beer and wines and vice versa. Iran has now shut down the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to attack any ship that tries to pass. That means global oil and gas prices are expected to spike even higher.
This is potentially the biggest shock for the oil market since 1990 when Iraq invaded Kuwait.
The narrow waterway south of Iran is one of the most important maritime routes in the world. About 20 to 30% of global oil and gas pass through the strait. The federal energy minister believes the conflict could leave countries turning to Canadian oil instead. Analysts are predicting the price of gas will go up by 5 cents a litre tomorrow, while diesel could jump by as much as 14 cents per litre. And we could see an increase on groceries as well, with food transported by truck possibly being impacted. Experts say more evidence is mounting about the impact social media has on the mental health of children and teens. But there are ways parents can help their kids find a healthy digital balance. Experts suggest parents look for ways to kill kid time with an in-person activity. This can include phone-free family meals, healthy bedtimes, and after-school clubs or sports.
Encouraging or requiring in-person activities can be more effective than simply banning social media because it offers concrete and hopefully enjoyable alternatives.
That's Tamar Mendelson, who specializes in public health policy and suggests parents encourage kids to engage with positive online spaces that expand their social circles. Finally, be aware of concerning behavior, including increasing amounts of time on social media, interference with daily tasks, and difficulty getting off the sites. The first time on a subway is a special ride even for dogs. For one day only, Hong Kong's subway system allowed dog owners to bring their pets for a ride. Organizers called it a dog-a-thon aimed at promoting pet inclusivity. People aren't even allowed to eat or drink on the Hong Kong subway, so letting dogs ride in the trains was quite the big step. The final stop of the event was a party at Disneyland Park, making this a one-off ride pretty hard to top. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now on Norwood Bridge. It looks like things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, but overall moving quite well. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is the same, and the lowest price in the city is $1.11. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Coming up, Ainsley is live with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this morning. Sleeping Beauty is the next production that fans can check out. We'll be right back after this.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
All right, we're waking up to some heavier clouds this morning, so much so that if you had hoped to get a good glimpse of that full moon eclipse this morning, you probably didn't get to see much. I have a weather picture to show you a little bit later on this morning that might be the best of what we could see, and that was the very beginning stage of the eclipse where just a touch of the moon was beginning to be shaded over. But then, of course, the clouds moved in, and that's what we're waking up to now. These heavier clouds that are going to hang around through the early morning hours, but then clearing as the day goes on. Some sunshine waiting for us later, but the temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler today. Not the morning temperatures. -13 is where we're sitting right now. Very close to normal for this time of year. A 17K wind out of the northeast with the pressure falling and the humidity at 81%. -14 is, in fact, a normal low. -4, a normal daytime high. That's the number that we're not going to quite reach today as we top out at about -8 here in Winnipeg. Central and southern Manitoba, some heavier clouds this morning, but here in the south it should be clearing a little bit later on today. Northern Manitoba, it's clear for you, but incredibly cold with those extreme cold warnings in place once again. Headed over to Ainsley, just down the street now to see what's going on. Hey Ainsley, what's up?
Good morning. We're at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet alongside its artistic director, Christopher Stonewall. Now, you guys, it feels like you're starting one, you're ending one. You're starting one, you're ending one. The chaos and the madness never ends, but that's what makes it so exciting. Tell us about what you're coming off of.
Yes, well, hopefully it's not chaos and madness, but we have been very active and productive over the last couple of months. We were on a 3-week tour of small communities in BC with an evening of very contemporary work, and we came back to Winnipeg and we've launched launched into the grandest of 19th century classical ballets, The Sleeping Beauty. So it shows our versatility, I think, that the dancers are capable of doing all of this kind of repertoire. I also love that our audiences everywhere across Canada are happy to see us dance many, many different styles.
I think I said chaos and madness because when I'm personally watching it, I'm going, how do they possibly move like that? And you're the guy behind it for this production. So tell us about that first time move.
Yeah, so what's different about this production, two things. One, it's the first ballet that we're performing under my leadership that I actually choreographed. The company has done a production of Sleeping Beauty in the past, but our audiences will see a new take on a classic with my version of the ballet. I want everyone to know that the pieces that everyone is looking forward to that are famous and iconic from this great classic are still there. So I based it on a really traditional production, but I've tried to, I want these ballets to still resonate with 21st century audiences, so the pace is a little bit faster. There's only one intermission. A full production of Sleeping Beauty, if you used every note that Tchaikovsky wrote, would be 4 hours long. So ours is 2 hours and 20 minutes with an intermission. So the pace is faster. It's very rigorous dancing for the whole company. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hey, I'd watch for 4 hours. Our show is about 3. It's 3. Okay, keep watching. See you soon.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones fell 810 points. The Nasdaq lost 524 points. The S&P index is 111 points down. The Canadian dollar has gone down, set to 72.98 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 291 points lower, and the Nikkei plunged 1,778 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. RCMP say a man was arrested twice in one day, the second time for a homicide. It all happened in the Pas. Officers got called to an assault at a home, and when they arrived, they found a 33-year-old man with serious life-threatening injuries. He was transported to hospital where he later died. RCMP say a 22-year-old man from Saskatoon, who had been arrested earlier that day on an unrelated matter, was arrested again in connection to the homicide. He's charged with second-degree murder. Police have also arrested a 32-year-old man from Thompson and charged him with second-degree murder. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for 30-year-old Draven Lester Mercredi. Mercredi has ties to the Pas, Moose Lake, and Thompson. Anyone with information on his location is asked to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. After 5 days of deliberations and 8 weeks of trial in New Brunswick, Jansen Baker has been found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder.
We recognize the outstanding and unrelenting police work of the RCMP, their hard work and dedication of their officers, which brought this case to court.
Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier were shot and killed inside their home in 2019. Jansen Baker was arrested and charged 4 years later. The 29-year-old had pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. A jury found him guilty on both counts. He's scheduled to be sentenced on May 7th. He's also already serving time in prison for violent crimes, including the shooting of a teacher. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2025 for that crime. The City of Winnipeg is clearing more red tape in an effort to speed up construction and related activities. It's now added 5 new projects which qualify for development permit exemptions. It includes change of use projects to bring offices, personal services, or retail sales to existing commercial buildings, replacement of existing fire escapes, and like-for-like replacement of balconies. Exemptions allow developers, homeowners, or small business owners to bypass development permits for certain projects. However, most will still need a building permit. The city says the latest additions put the number of exemptions introduced in the past 2 years to 41. Part of the Nestawaya River Trail is closing, but it has nothing to do with the weather. The Forks is closing off the sections between the port on Queen Elizabeth Way onto Churchill Drive. It's to allow maintenance work to be done on the rail bridge before ice conditions change. That work includes the removal of steel framing on the bridge, counterweight system. For now, the Assiniboine River portion of the River Trail will remain open, but Forks staff say that stretch may also close soon as rising water levels are causing some over-ice flooding. The Canopy Rink and upper trails are open for skating, weather dependent. A new French school is set to open in St. Boniface this coming September. The middle year school will fall under the Franco-Manitoban School Division and have an opening capacity of 375 students. It will be located in the former Springs Christian Academy on Newville Street. Manitoba's education minister says the school is needed to provide spaces amid record demand for French language education.
We know that French language education is very important. We know that DSFM has enrollment that supports a new school, and so we proceeded in this way because we knew it was a very quick and efficient way to get a new school into St. Boniface as quickly and as affordably as we could.
Tracy Schmidt added her department is working with the division to add another school in Brandon. Classes at the new school in St. Boniface are scheduled to begin September 11th. Manitoba's Matt Dunstone remains undefeated at the Montana's Brier in St. John's. Dunstone improved to 3-0 with a decisive 8-3 win over the Northwest Territories after 8 ends. There's one other Manitoban team taking part in the Brier. That's Braden Calvert's rink. It beat the team from British Columbia 8-4 after 9 ends. And the two Manitoba teams will face each other in the morning draw today. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush on Alexander Avenue, the eastbound and westbound curb lanes will be closed from Laura to Ellen Street. The northbound curb lane on St. Anne's Road will be closed between Fermor to Regal Avenue. And the southbound curb lane on Lily Street will be closed from Alexander to Pacific Avenue. If you see anything out there, send us a text, please.
Looking outside this morning, ooh, the Golden Boy looks good. We're not going to be seeing the Golden Boy glistening this morning with the sun blocked currently by those clouds, but perhaps later on today we'll have a better chance of seeing that as these clouds are expected to clear eventually. We're sitting at -13 with the northeast winds, 17 kilometers per hour, the pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 81%. Where it is clear already is northern Manitoba, clear and cold, extreme cold warnings in place. Once again, you can expect your daytime highs to keep you stuck in those low to mid -20s, but it's these early morning wind chill values pushing you into the mid -40s that have prompted those extreme cold warnings to be issued once again. Other places with some heavier clouds might even see some passing precipitation. Much of central Manitoba will be seeing those flurries passing through. Mid to high -teens. A little bit below seasonal. Here in the south too will be a little bit below seasonal after having an above seasonal day yesterday. So expect things to be just a little bit cooler. And while it's cloudy first thing this morning here in the south, we will eventually see those clouds breaking up. Maybe not the case through parts of central Manitoba. It'll remain on the cloudier side, but many of us here in the south will see those clouds clearing ever so slightly. Now you can see the temperatures will be a little bit cool, -4 a normal daytime high. Further to the east, we'll start to see those slightly milder temperatures. The balmy day that we had yesterday will be experienced throughout much of northwestern Ontario. We'll get back to those balmy days. In fact, for the weekend, it's going to be incredibly mild. The next couple of days, slightly below seasonal, but toward the end of the week, we're back up to what is normal for this time of year. And then, yes, the weekend itself, that's when the shocking warm-up comes as we're pushing up into those plus digits for a couple of days yet.
Thank you, Terry. A creative winter initiative is helping turn a frozen resource into a warm economic boost for Flin Flon and the area. A new snow lodge is drawing attention from around the world. CTV's Carla Shinkarek reports.
One of Canada's only snow lodges.
What may look like simple blocks of ice are actually the building blocks of a bigger winter vision in Flin Flon.
It's living up to its promise because it is profoundly beautiful.
But not just that. This is one of Canada's only snow lodges and is helping to strengthen tourism. But the idea has skeptics because the area has seen such devastation due to wildfires.
This is exactly what we should be doing, is showing resilience and showing the world that even if you go through tough times, you can absolutely do something perhaps a little crazy, but wonderful and fascinating and with excellence.
And travel writer Ashlyn George gives the community huge kudos for taking this on.
To take advantage of our winter season with all the activities that you can do is something that I think more communities need to do. I think Flin Flon, Denair Beach, and Creighton are leading the way when it comes to supporting people who want to come up for winter tourism.
And this engineering marvel built at the local campground required clear ice. The search for that perfect ice led them just meters away.
Well, let me go check this pond that's right near where our project's going to be, and nobody ever thought that would be the place where we're going to use it from.
By sourcing the ice locally, crews streamlined the process and reduced costs, carefully cutting and moving each 100-kilogram block into place. The project incorporates Indigenous artists with history of trapping in the area also represented. The Snow Lodge is already gaining national and international attention with inquiries coming in.
It's a really beautiful beacon of hope and resilience after such a tough year.
It's hoped that an overnight accommodation will be added in the coming years also. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
How cool is that? Well, an athlete with special needs has turned a fear into a fuel. CTV's Adam Sawatsky finds out how a legally blind swimmer with Down syndrome is making waves in the kitchen after overcoming adversity in the ocean.
When she first decided to try open ocean swimming, Malia Machman had to face a fear.
There's a seaweed.
You don't like seaweed?
No.
Having seaweed unexpectedly wrap around your leg can be startling, Coach Susan Simmons says, especially seeing as Malia is legally blind.
You're in the ocean and you can't see the shore very well and you don't know what's below you.
Despite that, Malia got so good at her sport, she regularly swims more than 4 hours straight.
That's amazing.
And was a finalist for the World Open Water Swim Association's Athlete of the Year.
She's the first known person with Down syndrome to swim 10 kilometers in the ocean in the world.
Competing at such a high level requires specific fueling, which proved to be a challenge with Malia's limited vision.
She has to make her own meals. Using the stove is not safe, so we started a little raw cooking class.
Malia started reimagining how to prepare her favorite food, and with Susan's help, created a week's worth of healthy recipes, all prepared in a unique way.
It's uncooked food in a jar. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a jar, and they're very simple.
Malia enjoyed it so much, making everything from chili with nut protein to spaghetti with zucchini noodles, that she published a cookbook.
I'm so happy for a cookbook.
So other people with Down syndrome, whether they're athletes or not, can be more independent and feel more self-confident.
So proud of myself and happy.
Although there's no seaweed in Malia's cookbook, the meals she now makes on her own will ensure that no matter what challenge she encounters in the ocean, she can keep swimming forward.
She's fearless, and she pretty much overcomes everything that she needs to.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Langford.
A sweet new treat has arrived to the Arizona Zoo.
She's true to her name. She does look like a little jelly bean, and Jelly Bean is so much fun to watch. She'll still get her little zoomies just like, you know, our dogs at home.
Baby pygmy hippo Jelly Bean was welcomed to the world. She got her name in a public contest with candy-themed naming options to match her mother, Lollipop, and father, Tootsie Roll. Here's what's happening now on Taché Avenue. It looks like it's moving well to start off. It's a good start to the day. If you see any issues, let us know. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. It's Tuesday, March 3rd. Today, captured on camera what a video shows of a violent incident in downtown Winnipeg. Plus, a federal investigation. Who's in custody over threats made against the Prime Minister? And a call for volunteers, how you can help out at Assiniboine Park this summer. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba at 7 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. With the conflict happening in the Middle East right now, we know it's going to trickle down in some way here to Canada. We're already hearing about gas prices going up. We're also hearing about production of food because of the transportation of food and how that might affect prices at the grocery store. So we're going to get more of an idea of what it could mean for us here in this country, especially here in Manitoba, a little later at about 7:52. But the weather, it's very different from yesterday today.
Yeah, it really is. Because yesterday it felt like spring had sprung, didn't it? Especially coming off of that cold weekend. I loved it too, Rochelle, honestly. It was so pleasant, beautiful, and balmy. Today will be a little bit cooler, but it's not going to be as cold as it was over the weekend. So kind of a little bit in between yesterday and the weekend itself. or, if you will, back to seasonal, because that's where our temperatures are this morning. Pretty much normal for this time of year. We're sitting at -13. A northeast wind, 17 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 81%. That sun, that'll be up in a few minutes time, and we're not going to see it first thing, unfortunately. I was even trying to see the moon on my way into work this morning because it's in its fullest stage right about that time, but it was also right about the time that the lunar eclipse was taking place. And unfortunately, most of us here in Winnipeg didn't get to see much of that either because of the heavier clouds that had squeezed in just as that was about to take place. Further up into the north, you maybe had some better viewing conditions, but all of the layers required for that. It is clear but cold through northern Manitoba. We will eventually see some clearing with the clouds moving out here in southern Manitoba. It's central Manitoba where the clouds will likely linger with a little bit of precipitation passing through today. So some scattered flurries throughout central Manitoba. Incredibly cold throughout northern Manitoba. Here in the south, just a little bit below seasonal, and in fact we'll have a couple of days of these slightly below seasonal temperatures to endure before the warm-up comes for the latter part of the week, putting us back to seasonal and takes us even further up above the freezing mark for the weekend. So very balmy weather to come, but today just off the mark of what is normal. -8 both today and tomorrow with moments of sunshine, and then back up to those more seasonal temperatures, -4 being normal for this time of year, but it's the weekend when those temperatures really start to soar. 11-year-old Leah is who we're thanking for today's art. Absolutely beautiful. And now there's a new way to submit your art, but there's some benefits to come with it. So you now go to our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and you fill out a form there. Then your art will be shown on the show if it's selected, but you could also have a chance to win a $100 gift certificate from Crockadoodle on Kenaston. Good luck to you.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
First Nation groups are demanding answers after a video surfaced showing a security guard allegedly beating a shoplifting suspect over the weekend. CTV's Denton Unger reports, and a warning to viewers, the video in this story is disturbing.
A violent incident captured on camera inside a downtown Winnipeg Dollarama. In the video posted on social media, a security guard who at one point appears to be wearing a brass knuckles type weapon is seen punching and stomping on a man.
What do you think you are?
The Winnipeg Police Service's Major Crimes Unit is now investigating this video. Police say the altercation started Saturday afternoon at the Dollarama when a security guard intervened in an alleged theft. Police say a 46-year-old man is now facing charges of robbery and uttering threats, though the charges have not been tested in court.
It is very disturbing.
Manitoba Kiwatinowi Okamakinak Grand Chief Garrison Settee condemned the actions against the man, who he says appears to be Indigenous.
It makes me angry, as a matter of fact, that our people are subject to that kind of violence, and that is simply that's what it is. It was a violent assault, and even when theft is suspected, that kind of violence is never justified.
Those thoughts echoed as dozens rallied outside the Dollarama, which was temporarily closed Monday afternoon.
We don't want to be the goon security company.
Impact Security Group President and CEO Ron Derrico confirmed the guard involved is an Impact Security employee and has been removed from active duty. He says the guard acted out of scope of his training.
Every officer is given training. They are taught use of force. They are taught how to comply with arrest procedures. Why this went off the rails, I can't answer that. I don't know what this individual was thinking.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Dollarama tells CTV News, "We do not authorize the use of force in any situation." Adding further, it's putting the security firm on notice and is cooperating with the investigation. But First Nation leaders want answers and are calling for the province to step in.
We think it was definitely an excessive use of force. If you see in the video, you don't really see the individual being aggressive in any way. And yet he continued to be assaulted.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Southern Chiefs Organization MKO and the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs have all called for an independent review under the province's Private Investigators and Security Guards Act. Justice Minister Matt Wiebe tells CTV News the province is already working to modernize the 40-hour security guard training program and develop a new code of conduct, noting the importance of cultural sensitivity in the work of security guards. The province confirms in this case the guard's license has been suspended. A Winnipeg man is in custody following a federal RCMP investigation into death threats made against Prime Minister Mark Carney on social media. The investigation started in mid-January after a user on X, formerly known as Twitter, allegedly posted threats towards the Prime Minister and incendiary messages about Jewish and Muslim communities. A 55-year-old man was arrested February 13th. RCMP say he's facing 3 counts of uttering death threats. He remains in custody and has a court date set for next Friday. An advocacy group of farmers and environmental organizations want Health Canada to implement a mandatory labeling on pork from gene-edited pigs. Advocacy group Canadian Biotechnology Action Network says Canadians won't know where gene-edited pork is on grocery store shelves if they're introduced into the market. Network coordinator Lucy Sherritt says public opinion polls in Canada show more than 80% of Canadians simply want to know where genetically engineered foods are. Earlier this year, Health Canada approved the sale of gene-edited pigs as food. At the time, it said special labeling would not be required, as it says there is no difference in terms of health and nutrition between the gene-edited pigs and any other. Meantime, the Winnipeg Police Service has gone over its books and is reporting it's actually under budget for the year 2025. According to a new report to the police board, the service was actually $10 million over budget for a number of different provincially funded initiatives last year. However, the report says it was offset by revenue of the same value. In addition, police found $2 million in overtime savings. And while there were fewer total tickets issued, there was an increase in photo radar tickets in construction zones. Combined with other savings, Winnipeg Police ended the 2025 fiscal year $1.7 million under budget. You can learn new skills and meet new people, all while helping out at one of Winnipeg's most popular destinations this summer. The Assiniboine Park Conservancy is looking for volunteers to fill a wide range of roles at the park and zoo. That includes as ambassadors, visitor services, special events assistants, and more. There's even roles geared towards teens. It's worth noting volunteers are not involved in the feeding or handling of animals. The application deadline is May 31st. You can learn more and apply by visiting assiniboinepark.ca. Here's a look now at what's going on the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are moving quite well starting off this Tuesday morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, give us a text.
Gold is off after a 4-day rally as traders weigh the escalating war in the Middle East against the prospect of a stronger dollar and elevated inflation. The conflict in the Middle East has already resulted in a spike in energy prices, which could trickle into inflation data, raising the likelihood that the Federal Reserve will leave rates unchanged for longer. Higher interest rates typically weigh on non-yielding bullion, as does a stronger U.S. dollar. Well, for the first time ever, Australia has shipped a liquid natural gas cargo to Canaport's LNG import terminal in St. John, New Brunswick. Bloomberg says it happened on February 25th. With demand for the super chilled fuel weak in Asia, Australia took the rare move to ship a cargo more than 25,000 kilometers to New Brunswick. Canada has vast reserves of natural gas out west, but the infrastructure isn't there to ship it east. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this morning. They're getting ready for Sleeping Beauty. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. Now, this isn't new to the RWB. It's happening the 12th to the 15th, and tickets are going fast, featuring Tchaikovsky's iconic score. And for the very first time, this music director doing it. The artistic director, Christopher Stoll, who we chatted with earlier, it's his first time doing the choreography as well. So it's got the old, it's got the new, and it's got some fantastic music and moves. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be learning about what's ahead, because that's going to be the finale. And then we're also chatting with 2 of the dancers, including our leading lady, Aurora, and a man from Italy. So don't go anywhere. I was chatting with an RWB staff member, and she was saying when she watches them do this, it is so physically demanding, and I think the music has a lot to do with that. Stay with us.
Sounds fun. Okay. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it feeling out there, Terry?
A little bit breezy at times, but the temperatures, there's nothing wrong with where these temperatures are sitting for this time of year. Very normal, in fact. But every now and then that wind picks up and I'm not sheltered from it. It's like, oof. you need something on the ears. I'd recommend a toque today. Minus 13 is where we're sitting, though it feels like minus 23 with those winds 26 kilometers per hour coming at you out of the north. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. And yes, it is still looking pretty cloudy out here. The sun is up now, but I can't see it. I also couldn't see the moon earlier this morning in its fullest phase, unfortunately. That's how dense these clouds are right now, but they will likely clear at least somewhat through the day. Pockets of sunshine for us here in the south. Plenty of sunshine across northern Manitoba. Unfortunately, not the heat to come with it. Extreme cold warnings issued once again across the north as you're waking up to wind chill values in those mid-minus 40s. So throw those extra layers on. You're going to need them today for northern Manitoba. And even here in the south, you'll want a few extra layers, perhaps. It's not going to be the balmy day that it was yesterday when we were just below the freezing mark. Instead, we're actually going to be a little bit below what is normal for this time of year. Even though our morning temperatures are bang on seasonal, it's our daytime highs that'll miss the mark. Minus 4 normal. We'll probably top out at about minus 8 here in Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
It's time now for our question of the day. Today is World Wildlife Day, so we're asking, what are your favorite wild animals? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name, please. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at CTV.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be right back after this. Good morning. It is 7:16. Flooding at the downtown police headquarters last month did some serious damage. A city spokesperson tells CTV News a complete assessment is still ongoing, but says damages will likely exceed $1 million. Parts of the police station flooded on Valentine's Day after 2 people allegedly opened several emergency water supply valves in the stairwells of the adjoining building. Police previously said flood damage spanned from the 4th floor to the basement. 2 people were charged with mischief-related offenses in a connection with this incident. The city spokesperson added the headquarters sustained more water damage Sunday due to equipment malfunction. The Legimazière overpass project is on time and currently on budget, but a new report reveals there isn't much money left if the project goes over budget. The entire project is expected to cost just over $51 million. However, a new report says bids for the project were higher than expected, meaning construction costs are about $6.2 million higher than initially predicted. It says other funding streams will need to be secured if unexpected costs come up. Work is currently underway on the southbound part of the bridge, with drainage work starting in the spring. The entire project is expected to wrap up by the fall of 2027. Most people in BC won't have to change their clocks anymore after Sunday.
We all have that microwave or that oven or something that you got to manually plug in the time change, and we won't have to do that anymore.
BC has announced a permanent change to daylight time. Premier David Eby pointed to schedule disruptions, safety, and lost sleep as some of the reasons behind the shift. In 2019, the BC government tabled legislation to make daylight time permanent. At the time, the province said the move can't be made until western states like Washington and California do it as well. But Premier Eby says he got tired of waiting. This also means BC will have a new time zone called Pacific Time. Here's a look at traffic now along Osborne Street. Looks like things are moving well here, but we do have a traffic alert. Eastbound curb lane is blocked by a stalled vehicle on Abinogi, Mikana, and Waverley. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please send us a text.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
In entertainment, the man behind a new genre of music dubbed toddler techno is heading out on tour with a stop here in Winnipeg. Lenny Pierce is bringing his high-energy, family-friendly show to Burton Cummings Theatre June 16th. He's previously sold out shows around the globe with his modern approach to classic children's songs. Tickets go on sale Friday through Live Nation. A record crowd packed into Mexico City's main square Sunday night for a free concert from music superstar Shakira. More than 400,000 people gathered to watch the show from the Colombian Grammy winner. It took place in the Zocalo, also known as Mexico City's Constitution Square. That was nearly double the around 200,000 fans who came to the same square for her 2007 show, which was also a record breaker at the time. The singer thanked fans who had camped out to attend. Shakira remains one of the top-selling female music artists in Mexico. And fans of the comedy series Jury Duty, pay attention.
Hello, my name's Anthony Norman. I'm here at... Sorry.
You can do it again.
Okay. Rocking Grandmama, sorry. This is my first day here.
Jury Duty Company Retreat is the follow-up to 2023's Jury Duty. The Emmy-nominated first season followed a juror, Ronald Gladden, who was unaware the trial he was sequestered for was a hoax and that he was surrounded by actors. This time the subject is Anthony Norman, who thinks he's away on retreat in his new workplace. It starts streaming March 20th. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Will Trent. High Potential is on at 8. RJ Decker follows at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10 o'clock. It's all right here tonight on CTV. Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Well, indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Good luck.
Oh, that sounds fun, doesn't it?
It does sound fun. It would be nice to go away right now, indeed, because it's breezy and chilly again today.
I know, a little bit cool, and you're right, breezy this morning. That's the biggest thing that I've been noticing that adds that extra chill. We're looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. You can see those heavier clouds out there. What a nuisance they were. The timing of them, terrible. Just as that full moon was about to be eclipsed, that's when the clouds moved in, and we here in Winnipeg didn't get much of a view of it. I do have a photo to show you, our weather picture today, just of the beginnings of that before it clouded over and obstructed that view. But we're still dealing with these clouds now, hanging around through the morning. But the temperatures themselves, well, they're kind of back to normal. -14 would be a seasonal low temperature, and we're seeing a lot of that here through the south. Winnipeg, Morden Winkler, just one better at -13, -16 in Dauphin and in Fisher Branch. Mid-minus teens through southern central Manitoba. But looking into the more northern part of the province, you can see these temperatures far colder yet, into the -30s in the most northern stretch, and that's where extreme cold warnings have been issued by Environment Canada. More to do with the wind chill values than the actual temperatures, as those wind chills have been pushing up into the mid-40s this morning. Even here, though, we're feeling the chill, a bit of a breeze, a 26k wind right now out of the north, and it's feeling in those low -20s. Like I said, the heavier clouds for now. As the day goes on, we're likely to see them clearing somewhat. Pockets of sunshine for us, a lot more sunshine across the north. Central Manitoba, it'll remain cloudy for you, maybe even a little bit of light snow. But the seasonal temperatures this morning will be on the rise, but topping out at about -8 by the time kids are coming home from school today. -4 is actually normal for this time of year. So the next couple of days just below it, back up to those more seasonal temperatures, and then taking a look at the weekend when the mercury soars into the plus digits. So here, the very beginning stages of that eclipse. Kat was out and snapped this picture, but said it clouded over quickly. Send those pics to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
March 3rd, 1921. Doctors Frederick Banting and Charles Best officially announced their University of Toronto team had discovered insulin to treat diabetes. Within a year, insulin was being mass-produced, turning diabetes from a fatal disease into a manageable chronic condition. March 3rd, 1965. The Sound of Music, the Oscar-winning film adaptation of the Broadway hit, was released. It starred Julie Andrews and Canadian actor Christopher Plummer. It quickly became one of the most successful films of all time, winning 5 Academy Awards. March 3rd, 1998. The 3 surviving Dion quintuplets were honored as among the top newsmakers of the century by Time magazine at its 75th birthday celebration.
The 5 identical girls were born in 1934 to a French-Canadian farmer and his wife in Corbeil, Ontario.
While Canada debates the decision over which new fighter jet to add to its aging fleet, Sweden is making the case for its top warplane. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin is on board with the Swedish Air Force for a closer look.
The Swedish Air Force is on a milestone mission, taking on lead air policing duties over Iceland for the very first time. The plan was to lower the ramp of its Hercules transport plane, to give the press a look, showing off its Gripen fighter jets in action. But poor weather scrapped that air-to-air operation, making it too risky for a peacetime maneuver.
It's really gusting.
Lieutenant Colonel Robin Arvidsson is a Swedish fighter pilot and squadron commander.
But some days it's just too windy to fly, and it's not because the aircraft can't handle it in the air. It's because if we have to eject, we don't want to hurt ourselves.
Sweden's Saab, maker of the Gripen, has been courting Canada, hoping to land a contract. Last year, Ottawa launched a review of its deal to purchase F-35s from U.S. manufacturer Lockheed Martin, and several defense experts argue that advanced fighter is best suited to defend Canada. The Swedish Air Force says the Gripen is built for this mission, a frequent flyer in the north.
Since the Gripen is designed by a Swedish company, of course the climate is no problem, and Canada also has harsh climate sometimes.
And the Swedish Air Force, marking a century this year, is training to show its fighter jets and its operations as a whole fit in with its NATO allies.
We have prepared for 98 out of the 100 years to defend Sweden, of course, but to do it alone and do it from Swedish territory, and that is becoming more and more difficult task.
For both Sweden and Canada, allies are key to defend the region from Russia's Arctic ambitions and China's increasing interest in the region. Sweden's rotation in Iceland is expected to stretch into mid-March, and Canada's decision on its fleet of fighter jets, well, we don't know when that decision will come. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, in the skies over Iceland.
Sleeping Beauty is the latest production put on by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Stay with us for more. All right, let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about Sleeping Beauty with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet, and the music in the production is absolutely incredible. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, and yes, I'm chatting with the man behind it all, Ming Lu. Good morning to the conductor and the musical director. It's the first time you're doing this for this production. Tell us all about that and the excitement surrounding it.
Oh, very excited about this. I think Sleeping Beauty is one of my favorite ballets of all time because the choreographer Petipa and Tchaikovsky work so closely together that the music just enhances the movements on stage, and the movements also enhance the music that we play.
Mm-hmm. How does that translate to the movement specifically, though, for a spectator like myself who doesn't quite understand that realm?
Oh, it's so much fun because sometimes the music gets so exciting, and you can see that the movements that Petipa, the choreographer, created, they're just they match the music so perfectly. And one of my favorite things is the very opening of the ballet starts off with these fairies, and every single one of them has some folklore behind it. Like there's one fairy that is giving good luck, and she places breadcrumbs in the crib, and that's supposed to be in Russian folklore good luck for prosperity. And so the music has those strings pizzing like pizzicatos, and the fairy is dancing around like she's placing breadcrumbs and dropping breadcrumbs. And so you can see that the movements and the music are really just tied together from the very inception of the ballet.
When else am I going to have an opportunity to chat with someone like you too? I'm like, I want all of those golden nuggets of information. Is there anything else that the audience might not know?
I think my favorite part is just the scope of the ballet. You know, the music is so sweeping, it's so powerful, and the music, Tchaikovsky is known for elevating ballet music so that we can listen to it on its own, and it's wonderful. And but when we have it with the dancers and with this entire production of Christopher Stoll's, I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful and just very thrilling and moving.
Thank you so much, and I want you guys to check this out. I understand that tickets are going fast, 12th through 15th. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. I'm excited because I get to go on Saturday.
Ooh, it is going to be a great show.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Right? I mean, it's one of those classic ones, so.
I haven't seen it yet, ever, so it'll be a first for me.
Oh, and Tchaikovsky, honestly, it's some of the best music around, so yeah, nice. You'll enjoy it. I know you will. Let's take a look outside and see what's happening out there. It's a fairly pleasant start to your morning if it weren't for those winds. The temperatures themselves are bang on seasonal, but that breeze has a bit of a bite. So -13 as a result of that wind feels like -23. Those north winds are right now 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 84%. Now we are seeing some heavier clouds out there. They kind of rolled in earlier this morning. Unfortunate timing because, of course, we'd been talking in the news the last couple of days about the lunar eclipse happening early this morning, but just as it was about to eclipse, those clouds rolled in and then there wasn't really much to see after that. Not even the moon, once it was in its fullest, brightest stage, could be seen through those clouds. That's how dense they were this morning. Central and southern Manitoba, that's the case. Further up into the north, that's where things are clear, so you maybe had better viewing of that eclipse across northern Manitoba, but what a cold start for you. Waking up with wind chill values in those mid-40s. It's nowhere near that cold here in the south, but it's also nowhere near as balmy as it was yesterday. Our temperatures, while they're seasonal this morning, won't reach what is normal for this time of year, as our daytime high is around -8 expected, and -4 would be that normal high for this time of year. Dropping down to -11 overnight, just partly cloudy conditions continuing. Tomorrow, once again, -8 our high. There will be pockets of sunshine over the next couple of days, just not as much warmth as you might expect. However, that warmth will be back for the latter part of the week, and even more so for this coming weekend, because that mercury will be on the rise, pushing up into the plus digits, and then maybe on the other side of that, starting next week with a bit of precipitation and just below the freezing mark with the temps.
RCMP say a man was arrested twice in one day, the second time for a homicide. It all happened in the Paw. Officers got called to an assault at a home, and when they arrived, they found a 33-year-old man with serious life-threatening injuries. He was transported to a hospital where he later died. RCMP say a 22-year-old man from Saskatoon, who had been arrested earlier that day on an unrelated matter, was arrested again in connection to the homicide. He's charged with second-degree murder. Police have also arrested a 32-year-old man from Thompson and charged him with second-degree murder. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for 30-year-old Draven Lester Mercredi. Mercredi has ties to the Paw, Moose Lake, and Thompson. Anyone with information on his location is asked to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. A Portersville Prairie family is sharing its heartbreak after a 12-year-old boy died in a weekend house fire, and a warning some details may be difficult to hear.
They're just, all they're doing is crying, and they're very, very, very hurt and lost.
Clint McIver says his nephew, Alexander Beaulieu Jr., was killed in Sunday's fire at his family's home. McIver says his sister and her husband were home with 5 of their children when the blaze broke out. He says Beaulieu was trapped in his bedroom and the doorknob broke off when his father tried to rescue him. The rest of the family was able to escape through a window, but they were unable to save the boy.
There was a window on the outside, and they busted the window, but it was too small. And my brother-in-law was holding his hand, and he said, "Don't worry, we'll get you out, we'll get you out." And he was just crying and screaming, and he was holding his hand, and then he had asthma, and he just collapsed.
McIver describes his nephew as a kind boy who loved to play video games and be with his family. All of the family's belongings were lost in the fire. McIver says the Canadian Red Cross is helping, but donations of food and other necessities are still needed. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Support teams are now available for students at a Calgary high school after a student was killed in an avalanche.
Tricky, dangerous conditions more than ever. It's important that if you're going out into the backcountry, it's important to get the training, the gear, and the forecast. All 3 of those things are always critical.
Emilio Razdira was swept up in Friday's avalanche in the Nikiska ski area. He and another student from Queen Elizabeth High School were skiing when it happened. An Avalanche Canada report says they were boot packing up a slope, carrying their skis, when they triggered the avalanche. The other teen managed to dig himself out. Razdira was transported to a children's hospital, but died on Saturday. A full investigation is now underway. Authorities in the Dominican Republic say 2 Canadians are dead in a bus crash involving Sunwing guests. 13 other people were injured in the crash Sunday night. The crash involved a shuttle transporting tourists to a hotel. Canada's embassy in the Dominican Republic isn't confirming anything, saying in part on social media, "We are aware of a tourist bus accident involving Canadians in the Dominican Republic and are in contact with local authorities." The bus was operated by a third-party provider, Nexus Tours. They've said in part, "We deeply regret the graphic incident involving the bus transferring Sunwing guests in Punta Canada on March the 1st, 2026. Our hearts go out to the families and loved ones involved." Health officials in BC have been warning of a new street drug that's sending overdose calls in that province soaring.
We're seeing sort of 30, 40, 50% of opioids that have medetomidine in it.
It's an animal tranquilizer that's been found mixed with the opioid fentanyl. And it's that combination that makes the situation more challenging and life-threatening. Doctors say naloxone only reverses the opioid, leaving people unconscious and with life-threatening withdrawal symptoms due to the veterinary sedative. BC experts are now using test strips to determine whether a drug sample contains the tranquilizer, but it's harder to confirm in patients. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning following the rush on Alexander Avenue. The eastbound and westbound curb lanes will be closed from Laura to Ellen Street. The northbound curb lane on St. Anne's Road will be closed between Fermor to Regal Avenue. And the southbound curb lane on Lily Street will be closed from Alexander to Pacific Avenue. If you have any other tips, let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is $1.32. It's the same in Winnipeg. And the lowest price in the city is $1.11. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Right now it is minus 13 degrees under cloudy skies. We're going to take a quick break. Your Morning Winnipeg will be right back.
All right, it's looking a little bit brighter as that sun rises higher in the sky, but it's all tucked behind those heavier clouds. We won't be seeing much of it for the next hour or so, but hopefully clearing as the day goes on. It's minus 13 to begin, but it feels like minus 23 with winds out of the north 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. The humidity is sitting at 84%. Those heavier clouds moved in with the most unfortunate timing just as we were about to witness the lunar eclipse this morning. For those of you that were up early, that was happening just a little before 5 a.m., but that's also when those clouds moved in just as the eclipse was beginning. So we didn't get much of a view of it here in the south, but for northern Manitoba, it's been clear there all morning long. It's also been incredibly cold, and extreme cold warnings remain in place across northern Manitoba. Once again, temperatures topping out in those mid-minus 20s, but it's the wind chill values this morning that have it feeling in the mid-minus 40s. So throw those extra layers on, clear but cold. Whereas other places will be seeing some heavier clouds and likely a bit of precipitation, mid to high minus teens through most of northern Manitoba, except for that far northern stretch. But again, heavier clouds and likely to deal with a little bit of snow as well. Yesterday was a balmy day here in southern Manitoba. It felt like spring had sprung. That's not going to be the case today. It will be a little bit below seasonal, not the shock of this past weekend, but a few degrees cooler than you would expect, with minus 4 being a normal daytime high. Most of us will be in those high minus single digits. Further to the east, though, a little bit milder, more like what we experienced yesterday, getting up around the freezing mark through much of northwestern Ontario. Now, we're going to see a return to those temperatures, but it'll take until the weekend. In fact, we'll probably surpass those temperatures by the time the weekend rolls around. Next couple of days, slightly below seasonal, then back to normal, and then mild and balmy with some sunshine for the weekend ahead.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. We know Sleeping Beauty is coming up in just a couple or just a week or so. What happens after that? Good morning.
Good morning. The Four Seasons, and then there's a few others that we want to tell you guys about. Sleeping Beauty, I can't wait to see it. Everything I hear so far is just delightful. The artistic director is joining me once again, Christopher Stoll. So let's talk about what's to come, because in the ballet world, we've got the finale coming up.
Yes, it never stops around here. So after we finish Sleeping Beauty, we go into a rehearsal period for a triple bill that premieres at the end of April, beginning of May. The sort of headliner of the program is James Kadalka's The Four Seasons, a real Canadian classic. The company hasn't danced it in 12 years. James was with us last week to sort of re-familiarize himself with the dancers. And alongside this great Canadian classic are two other works, Shagatum by Cameron Fraser Monroe, Indigenous choreographer that we have worked with recently, and also a graduate of our school. That work actually has premiered in New York City by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet in a festival, but has never been done in Canada. So that's a premiere for us here. And then a world premiere by Dwight Roden, who is the co-artistic director of Complexions Contemporary Ballet in New York City. And it's called Odyssey. Very dynamic, exciting, fast-paced athletic choreography.
When it comes to something that the company hasn't seen for 12 years, for instance, and then you have other productions like The Nutcracker, where it's a classic, we see it every single year. What does that do from your perspective with all the moving parts?
Well, let's see. Putting Four Seasons back on the stage is interesting because we have a template from when we did it last, but many of the dancers have gone on and retired and all of that. So we have to rethink the casting, first of all, and also want to make it feel refreshed. I think we're renting costumes from a different production. The best thing about it is having the choreographer James Kadalka with us. That is really, really important. He's not always available. Sometimes choreographers send someone else to teach the work. He has an assistant coming with him, but having the sort of the inspiration from the artist's mouth directly is going to make these performances really special for all of us.
Thank you so much. And we're out of time. I want to ask you about Sleeping Beauty quick, but just
more tutus.
Just look at her. I won't touch it.
Okay, that's okay. There's the Sleeping Beauty right there.
Yeah. Cut out of this, please.
Thank you. Mark Carney announced a reset and new partnership worth billions with India. But as CTV's Abigail Beeman tells us, there are still many questions for the Prime Minister and still no answers.
Prime Ministers Mark Carney and Narendra Modi launch a new phase of the Canada-India relationship, and Carney invited Modi to visit Canada.
There has been more engagement between the Canadian and Indian governments in the last year than there has been in more than 2 decades combined.
We will turn ideas into global solutions.
Announcing 5 memorandums of understanding on energy and AI and 10 commercial deals, including a highly anticipated $2.6 billion deal to sell uranium from Saskatchewan to India.
It's going to be good for the electricity outbuild here in India, as well as good for the economy and good for, in particular, northern Saskatchewan and Canada, I would say, as well.
The pair committed to finalizing a new broad trade deal by the end of the year.
Business loves certainty, and particularly at a time like this where uncertainty is rampant. Trade agreements give us some confidence that we can invest in each other's countries.
Carney has not taken any questions since a government official suggested Wednesday India was no longer actively carrying out foreign interference or transnational repression, and canceled the first media availability of the trip today, blaming scheduling. The Foreign Affairs Minister for the first time gave a clearer assessment of the comments.
The words of the senior official are not words that I personally would use. I agree with his comments relating to the guardrails that we have in place.
But the bilateral relationship has become so warm, Canada welcomed Indian government officials, including the High Commissioner, onto the Prime Minister's plane from Mumbai to New Delhi. Carney's office said Modi accepted the invitation, but there's no timeline for a visit to Canada. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, New Delhi.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 9th birthday, Andre. Love Dad, Mom, sisters Ariane, Ania, and Jade. Happy 18th birthday, Jalen Jade. Hope you have the best day. Love Mom and sisters. Happy 48th birthday, Kind, from Angie, Ryden, Destin, and then the gang at North 40 Ranch. Happy birthday, Duke, with love from your family and friends. Happy 5th birthday, Jordan and Tristan. Love Mom, Grandma, and the rest of your family. Happy 19th birthday, Kendra. We're so proud of you. Love Mom. Happy 7th birthday, Gracie, with love from your family. Happy 92nd birthday to Dawn, with love from your daughter, Colleen. And a happy 54th anniversary to Betty and Arthur. Best wishes from family and friends. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
All right, yesterday was so balmy and we ended up rising to above seasonal values. That won't be the case for us today, likely topping out at about -8 when -4 is normal for this time of year. Now, +4 is the record, 4.6. That was that was last year. My goodness, 9.1, that was the record set in 2000. Last year, 4.6. Well, I shouldn't be that shocked by it because this coming weekend, we could be reaching that +4 number. Yeah, the weekend is going to be beautiful, balmy, very, very mild, maybe too much so for some. It's going to be messy, slushy, melty, although maybe I think we're starting to get a little bit more ready for spring. It certainly felt like it yesterday, and maybe not this morning. We have a bit of a chill, mostly due to those stronger winds. At this time, we're sitting at -13, but it feels like -23 with a 26K wind out of the north. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 84%. Heavier clouds still hanging over us right now. Lack of sunshine at this time, but we might start to see those clouds breaking up a little bit as the day goes on. Brief moments of sunshine here or there as those temperatures climb a few degrees, but as I mentioned, we're not going to meet the seasonal values today, remaining just shy of it both today and tomorrow. But still, a little bit below seasonal is nothing compared to the extreme cold temperatures across northern Manitoba, with you waking up in those -40 wind chill values across the north. Extreme cold warnings have been issued once again by Environment Canada. We have a couple of days just below seasonal, but it'll warm up through the rest of the week and get very mild this coming weekend.
Oil prices have surged this morning and global stock markets are mostly lower as investors eye threats to energy supplies from the Iran war. The rise in crude prices, which will likely translate into higher prices at gasoline pumps because of fears that a widening war could slow the global flow of oil. Joining us now with more on what the Middle East conflict can mean for us here at home is Assistant Professor and Associate Department Head of Political Science at the U of M, Brian Peeler. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Michelle. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, first of all, you deal with legalities when it comes to the UN and these kinds of, sort of wars and how they get started. Would you consider this a legal war?
No, this is an illegal use of force under the UN Charter. I guess the president submitted what's called a his war report to the Senate probably, I think it was last night. So under domestic law, the president has to send a notification when they use force, and the justification in that letter was the threat that the Iranian nuclear program poses to the world, that poses to U.S. forces in the region as well. Okay. Of course, we were told a couple of weeks ago that the U.S. had obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. Under international law, you're only allowed to use force when you are the victim of an armed attack or about to be the victim of an armed attack. So there was no armed attack against the United States. The Iranians' use of force against U.S. allies in the region, they haven't used force against Iran, so those are also illegal. So there's all sorts of illegal uses of force going on right now.
So, I mean, the conflict was between the U.S. and then it was, of course, with Israel, but it's now expanded to Hezbollah. It's sort of going beyond those two borders as well. So do you think that this will continue to spread and will continue in the long term?
Yeah, well, honestly, I was thinking yesterday that reporting is sort of that the Iranian military capabilities have been significantly degraded in the last several weeks because of attacks like this. So that's why apparently the Saudis and the Israelis were pushing the United States to do this. Marco Rubio, I guess yesterday, said that they thought the Israelis were going to attack anyway, and if they did attack, that U.S. forces would be then vulnerable, so they were going to get involved in this war. I was thinking more that that, you know, what we would see because Iranians, the military capabilities have been degraded, that there'd be more terrorist activity. Now I'm thinking, you know, that maybe there will be more of a wider war given these attacks, and that Hezbollah is getting involved. Yeah, so I'm more worried than I was yesterday, for sure.
Okay, well, we also know it's going to affect us in some way. Even though we're far away from the conflict, it will affect us here. The Strait of Hormuz, which is where 1/5 of the world's oil gets transported through that strait, is now being put on hold by Iran. What will that mean to the rest of us here?
It's going to mean higher gas prices for sure in the next several weeks. We're going to have to wait and see about, I mean, if they're going to be able to attack, I guess the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has said that they're going to attack any sort, I guess, any shipping that tries to go through the straits. I'd expect to see attacks on terrorist attacks or attacks by the Revolutionary Guard on oil platforms as well in the region possibly. So this is going to get worse before it gets better.
And what else, what other impact can you see here
for Canadian? I just sort of the, you know, people, there's the Iranian community in Canada, their families are under threat. There's several civilian casualties already. So I would say, you know, oil prices and just sort of the threat to civilians, this is bad. It's very bad.
And with oil prices, of course, so does food prices go up because of transportation. Well, Brian, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us, and you'll have to come back as this continues, hopefully.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Brian.
Hello there, Jermaine Franklin with you inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. For that, we'll head to the pitch for this one. Action from La Liga, Real Madrid hosting Getafe. Martin Soriano with the outrageous volley goal, only a second league goal of the season, as Getafe beat Real Madrid on the road for the first time in 18 years as Soriano earns your must-see moment from Monday. And today on TSN, we've got full-day coverage of the 2026 Montana's Brier. It all starts at 1 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
Here's a look at Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way. It's a cloudy start to your day, but overall things are moving well in this part of the city. We'll be right back after this break. It's Tuesday, March the 3rd. Today, captured on camera how a violent confrontation inside of Winnipeg Dollarama led to protests and a suspended license. Plus, booze trade breakthrough. Ontario and Nova Scotia open direct alcohol sales in rare interprovincial deal. And World Cup countdown, 100 days until kickoff, with Canada set to host 13 World Cup matches. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It's 8 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, we're going to talk about cervical cancer at 8:15. It is entirely preventable with HPV vaccination. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what our rates are like compared to the rest of the country when it comes to HPV vaccines and why it's something that parents should consider. And then at 8:27, she's Ray St. Germain's granddaughter, and she's just been selected in a countrywide competition. So we're going to hear more about it from Katie St. Germain, so stay tuned for 8:27 for that. But meanwhile, looking outside, it's cloudy today.
I know, of all days. What was your drive into work like? Did you happen to see the moon?
I didn't. It was cloudy. I looked, though. I made sure to look, and I missed it, which is so, I was not
I know,
happy.
the timing of it, right? Because we've been talking in the news in the days leading up about the full moon that would be in place this morning, but also that lunar eclipse. And unfortunately, because of the clouds, there wasn't really much to see, and there still isn't. You can see the heavier clouds that are hanging over the city right now. It's minus 13, though it feels like minus 23 with those winds out of the north, 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. Do Do stay tuned for our weather picture because Kat was out this morning and managed to capture just the very, very beginning of the lunar eclipse, and then she said it clouded over almost immediately, but it might be the best chance of what you would have seen around Winnipeg. However, look at northern Manitoba. It's been clear all morning long. Viewing conditions would be great up there if it weren't so darn cold. Oh my goodness, the extreme cold warnings issued once again across northern Manitoba. Central and southern Manitoba aren't quite as cold, but obviously it's a lot cloudier. Maybe even snowier. Parts of central Manitoba will be dealing with those flurries. We might see those clouds breaking up a little bit here in the south. And yes, you might enjoy a little more sunshine across northern Manitoba, but it is very, very cold with extreme cold warnings I mentioned and wind chill values pushing it into the minus 40s. The snow will last through central Manitoba maybe for a couple of days. We could also still see some heavier clouds hanging around for tomorrow. Pockets of sunshine though here or there and slightly below seasonal temperatures. -8 for both today and tomorrow. Slightly milder toward the end of the week. -4 would be a normal daytime high, but +4. That's what we're expected to reach this coming weekend. Leah, 11 years old, thank you for sharing your art with us. And now there's a new way to submit your art. You have to actually go to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. There's a form there to fill out, and then your art can still be shown here on the show, but you'll also be entered to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenniston. That will be a monthly draw.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
A shocking confrontation inside a Dollarama store in Winnipeg has sparked outrage, and a warning to viewers, the video in this story is disturbing.
What do you think you are?
Video footage shows a security guard stomping on and striking a man. Winnipeg police say the altercation started over an alleged theft. The man was later charged with robbery. Indigenous leaders are demanding accountability on the guard's actions.
It makes me angry, as a matter of fact, that our people are subject to that kind of violence.
Dozens of protesters showed up Monday outside the store, temporarily closed, which says it does not authorize the use of force. Southern Chiefs Organization, MKO, and the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs have all called for an independent review under the province's Private Investigators and Security Guards Act. Justice Minister Matt Wiebe tells CTV News the province is already working to modernize the 40-hour security guard training program and develop a new code of conduct, noting the importance of cultural sensitivity in the work of security guards. The province confirms in this case the guard's license has been suspended. Consumers in Ontario and Nova Scotia can now buy alcohol directly from producers in each province.
Because unlocking free trade within Canada is one of the best ways that we can build a stronger, more united, more competitive, and more resilient Canadian economy.
The agreement, a first of its kind, was made between Premier Doug Ford and Tim Houston as a way to increase internal trade within Canada during an ongoing U.S. trade war. Residents of Nova Scotia will be able to easily buy Ontario craft beer and wines and vice versa. There has been a fresh wave of U.S.-Israeli strikes across Iran. Targets hit in Iran this morning are said to include its leadership compound and the headquarters of its state broadcaster. The Iranian Red Crescent says 787 people in the country have been killed since the attack started. Israel this morning also hit Lebanon with more strikes while giving the order for a ground operation. The U.S., meanwhile, now says 6 of its soldiers have died in the war. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was hit by a suspected Iranian drone strike this morning. The State Department has ordered non-essential staff and their families out. We are now 100 days away from the start of the FIFA World Cup. The first game of the tournament will be played on June 11th in Mexico City. The final will happen on July 19th in New Jersey. 13 games will be played in Canada between Vancouver and Toronto playing hosts. Toronto will host a free celebration tonight at Rebel Nightclub. The Alberta Kennel Club is having a good time. The Winter Classic Dog Show was on at Stampede Park, where over 500 pups and their owners compete daily, being judged on manners and obedience with the Best in Show prize up for grabs. This was the first event organizers held since the pandemic, so it's not far-fetched to say they had a ball. Here's a look at what's going on now on Donald Street. It looks like things are moving well over here. If you see any issues out on the streets, let us know, please.
Traffic is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet this morning. Hello, Ainsley.
Hello, good morning. Sleeping Beauty is coming up. It's on deck 12th to 15th of March. Get your tickets now. And I'm joined by one of the dancers who's playing 3 different roles. How cool is that? Marco Lopresti. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Tell us about these roles, plural.
They're very different, but very similar. There are 3 kinds of princes. One is the main prince, so Prince Florimund. One is one of the suitors. There is still a prince, but from far away, that he comes to try to marry Aurora. And the third one is the fairy cavalier, not a prince, a cavalier, but is the lilac fairy cavalier, and he's like the partner of the lilac fairy that is the most powerful fairy of all.
And as a dancer playing these various roles, what does it do to you physically, but also emotionally?
Physically, it's very hard, especially Prince Florimund is very hard, it's very demanding, but emotionally there's a lot of character development, and it's very, very fun to portray it, but it's complicated, because in a way you have to do some very difficult and technical steps, but you have to look like effortless. You know, like you have to look like you're doing nothing and very elegant, and even the way you just move an arm is important. And yeah, it's very, very, very hard physically, but very fun emotion-wise.
And I was just in awe of all these costumes. Is it a quick change when you're going through the different ones?
Yeah, it's pretty fast because from second to third act, there's just a piece of music in between the 2 acts. There's no intermission. So you have 2 or 3 minutes just to change completely, change tights, change everything. Yeah, it's pretty fast.
I guess if, you know, we're not going to talk about what it's like putting Spanx on at 5 in the morning. We're almost at a time. Why should people come to this?
They should come because it's the biggest fairy tale of all, and it's so nice to see it just put on stage, just explaining a whole story just with gesture, with pantomime, and it's magical. The costumes, the sets, and the dancing is amazing.
Thank you so much. I love how eloquent he is, just how you move your arm, how you squeeze.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. A new study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal shows a dramatic rise in young men seeking help for problematic online gambling. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
We were interested in looking at changes in health harms as a result of the various policy changes that happened in Ontario.
Researcher Ryan Forrest looked at the development of Ontario's online gambling formats from a single government-run website in 2015 to legalized single-event sports betting in 2021, and then becoming the only province in Canada to open a privatized market for gambling. There are now more than 80 gaming and betting sites, with $63 billion being wagered on these sites through 2.1 million accounts in 2024. Forrest says the introduction of in-play betting, which can be done even after a game has started, has been particularly harmful.
It allows really rapid, continuous betting during sports events. And research suggests that these sort of fast betting cycles, these constant opportunities to wager, and the real-time, emotional engagement involved in this can really increase impulsive decision-making and make it harder for people to stop.
And looking at the calls for help to the province-wide mental health service Connects Ontario shows young males are having significantly more problems than other groups.
We saw that 350% increase in contacts specifically among young men. So almost all of the increase we saw is coming from this demographic of young men aged 15 to 44.
The legal age for online gambling in Ontario is 19, and the impact can, in some cases, become life-threatening.
At the individual level, it's financial distress, as you said, anxiety and depression, substance use problems, in severe cases, it can be increased risk of self-harm or suicide.
Harms beyond the individual include relationship breakdowns, domestic violence, and more.
Other provinces are going to be wanting to look closely at this.
She says things like stronger limits on advertising, spending limits, and making sure treatment is available and accessible are all important considerations. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Those heavier clouds, they've been hanging around all morning long. Unfortunate timing that they moved in right ahead of that lunar eclipse first thing this morning. So not only did we not get to enjoy the full moon in all of its glory or the eclipsing moment of it, but now we can't even enjoy the sunshine, unfortunately. However, I do expect that we'll see a little more of it later today as these clouds begin to break up and clear into the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we're pretty much back on what is normal for this time of year, with -14 being a seasonal low. Many of us are right in that zone of those mid-minus teens through central and southern Manitoba. Totally different story the further that we go up into the north, where you're into the low to mid high -20s, or suddenly finding yourself in those -30s into the most northern stretch of the province, where it's actually the clearest and, yes, the coldest. And Environment Canada has issued extreme cold warnings once again for the most northern part of the province. And no surprise there when we're looking at wind chill values in those low to mid -40s in the far northeast. Even here in the south, though, that breeze has a bit of a bite, making it feel in the -20s, so you might want that extra layer on. It might feel a little bit better as the sun starts to peek out from behind the clouds, but for now, we've got the clouds through central and southern Manitoba, and maybe even the threat of flurries throughout much of central Manitoba today. As the temperatures climb, we'll still remain slightly below seasonal, -12 as kids get into the classroom, -8 by the time they're coming home, -4 is a normal daytime high. We're going to miss the mark both today and tomorrow, but get closer to those numbers through the latter part of the week, and then surpassing it big time with a huge warm up this weekend. Beautiful and balmy plus digits on the way. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
While Canada has set a goal of eliminating cervical cancer before 2040, the rate of cases is rising. The HPV vaccine is highly effective at preventing 90% of cervical cancers, yet our province has reached only 72% vaccination rate. Joining us now is Winnipeg gynecological oncologist, Dr. Sarah Keane. Good morning, Dr. Keane.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us. Now, before we get to the vaccine itself, let's talk about cervical cancer. What is it exactly, and what causes it?
Okay, so cervix cancer is a cancer involving the cervix, which is the bottom portion of the uterus.
Okay.
And it is exclusively, completely caused by a virus called HPV, or human papillomavirus. So there's not really any other causes. About 99.7% of all cervix cancer is caused by this virus.
Okay, and the cervical cancer, it can be deadly?
Absolutely, it can. It can be very survivable if it's caught at an early stage, but if you have more advanced disease, that the treatments that are available can sometimes be quite costly in terms of side effects, or it certainly can be fatal.
And it's also, is it a painful type of cancer?
It can be, yeah, absolutely. It is inside the tummy as it spreads, so down low in the pelvis, and pain control can be very challenging.
Okay, and this is caused by the HPV virus.
Yep.
What is the HPV virus, and why does it cause other forms of cancer?
So it is a virus that at its heart really doesn't have a lot of side effects or symptoms, so most people don't know when they have it. It is spread through skin-to-skin contact, and there's hundreds and hundreds of HPV viruses that affect humans. Some of them do affect the cervix and the lower anogenital tract, as well as the mouth and head and neck. And so all of these cancers can be caused by virus in the head and neck, as well as the vulva and the anus and the cervix.
And what's fascinating about this is that at this stage in science, it is completely preventable because we have a vaccine that is quite effective.
Yep.
Tell us about the vaccine itself and when it first showed up on the scene.
So the vaccine showed up initially in the early 2000s. The initial one just had 2 strains that prevent against genital warts, which are also caused by HPV, and 2 strains that most likely cause cancer. With evolution, we now have a non-availant or 9 strains vaccine, so 7 of the most commonly causing cancer strains, and that reduces cancer by about 90%. It is such an effective virus with a really good immune response.
And we literally could eradicate this kind of HPV-related cancers with this vaccine.
Absolutely. Yeah, between a combination of good screening, because that's the other critical piece for eliminating this, is it has a very long, what we call prodromal phase or pre-cancer phase, where if you screen and detect those cells before they become a cancer, you can treat them very easily and get rid of them. So between robust vaccination and good screening programs, literally nobody has to suffer from this cancer. It could be completely eliminated.
Okay, let's talk about the vaccination program right now. There are vaccines being administered in schools.
Yep.
Tell us about how that works exactly and which kids are being targeted.
Okay, so it's targeted to grade 6 students. It's given in the school systems along with the hepatitis B vaccine. And we have what we call an opt-in program. So the parents do have to sign a permission slip saying, yes, my kid can have this vaccine. And if they do that, then they'll be vaccinated through the school systems. If you're under 15, you just need 2 vaccines. And then you have immunity for life effectively.
For the whole lifetime.
For your whole lifetime.
And this is boys and girls that you're doing
Boys and
this?
girls, yeah.
Okay.
So the cohort is girls born in 1997, boys born in 2002, and everybody that comes after that.
Okay.
We also have what's called a once eligible, always eligible program here in Manitoba, where if you didn't get it in grade 6 for whatever reason, then you can get it for free, completely covered by the province at any point thereafter. And we're one of the only provinces that has that, so so it's really nice.
Okay, 72% is our vaccination rate.
Around there, yeah.
And the rest of the country is at about 64 to 65%. So we're doing better than the rest of the country.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
We could do better though.
We could, yeah. And so you mentioned this elimination by 2040. So the World Health Organization declared an elimination of cervix cancer in 2020. And 194 other countries said, yeah, we're going to do this. We can do this. We have the tools. We just need to make it work. And so HPV-based screening and vaccination are the key pillars for that. The initial target was 90% of children vaccinated by 2025. So we missed that window. Okay. We're not the only ones who missed that window, and that's why it's been extended to the 2040 mark. But we do have a bit of work to do before we reach that World Health Organization target.
Okay, we're almost out of time. You're encouraging parents to really consider this.
Absolutely.
Change their children's
lives. It's a
lives.
life-saving vaccine, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing this with us, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, still a little bit breezy out here, and I'm noticing that bit of a bite from that. So our actual temperature sits at -13, but it feels more like -23 right now with a 23K wind out of the north-northeast. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. I'm starting to have to squint a little bit. Not that there's bright sunshine, but pockets of sun shining behind these heavy clouds. The clouds will continue to clear throughout the day here in southern Manitoba, but they're likely to remain all through central Manitoba, bringing with them some scattered flurries. So for central Manitoba, it might be a little bit snowy at times today. For northern Manitoba, it's going to be cold. It's clear, though. The sky across northern Manitoba will be beautiful and bright, but extreme cold warnings have been issued by Environment Canada, with wind chills this morning in the far northeast in the low to mid -40s. So you'll need all those extra layers on, although even here in the south, more layers required than yesterday. Yesterday, what a balmy one. Now, of course, coming off the weekend, we're nowhere near as cold as that, but we will remain a little bit below seasonal both today and tomorrow, topping out at about -8, -4. That would be normal, but we will continue to see some warming temps toward the end of the week and even more so for the weekend. So there's a look at that eclipsing moon just before it completely clouded over. So thanks to Kat, who was out and managed to snap this pic. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather and CTV.ca. We're taking a break. We'll be back.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
She's the granddaughter of the late local Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame legend Ray St. Germain, but Katie St. Germain is making her own mark on the Canadian country music scene. Katie has been selected as one of 8 semi-finalists in SiriusXM's 8th annual Top of the Country competition. And joining us now is Winnipeg singer-songwriter Katie St. Germain. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. You look fabulous. It's nice to see you. Congratulations on this honor.
Thank you very much. It's been crazy.
Tell us how you even got to this point.
This was my second year applying for this program. I knew that it was a thing, and SiriusXM has just been such a supporter of, country music, but Canadian country music as well. And then I also love to go and enjoy the show at the CCMAs when they kind of announce the winner of this competition. So I applied and I got the phone call that I was a semi-finalist. So I'm just so excited.
So tell us about the competition itself. It's the Top of the Country competition. Why is it such a big deal to be selected?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like hundreds and hundreds of Canadian talent that apply for this. So it's all across Canada, and there's only 8 that make it into the semifinalist portion of it. So yeah, I'm one of 8 people that were chosen, and it's just a really great program. We get, all expenses paid to go and record a song and to do like a recording there, and then people can vote from there.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So do you know who else you'll be competing against?
I do, yeah, and it's so cool because they're just like so many artists that I look up to as well. Shawnee Kish is one that's just another Indigenous female artist. She is so killer, so I really wish that I could meet her. I'm not sure if we'll get to meet through the program, but it's just really cool to be up against her as well. And Josh Stumpf is another one that's just doing really big things in Canada right now from Saskatchewan. So yeah, we're all together and we're all kind of cheering each other on, which is really cool too.
And what is the part of this competition you're most excited about, would you say?
I mean, all of it. I think so. Next week we actually fly out to Vancouver and we get to record a new original song. So I'll be doing that, and I get to bring a couple of my bandmates out there. So I'm just looking forward to going to the mountains and recording and having this whole experience out there.
It's so cool. The last time I saw you, you sang the national anthem at this year's past Grey Cup in Winnipeg. What an honor that must have been for you. How do you feel about that?
That was so insane. I was kind of just saying to everyone that, like, if this is as far as my career goes, I will be so happy, because it was just what a bucket list moment and super surreal. And I was just so glad that I didn't collapse. So it's great.
And you looked fab, by the way. I loved what you were wearing. You just looked so amazing. What do you want fans to know about this competition? What can they do to support you get to the top spot?
Absolutely. Okay, so when I go out and I record the song, the video is going to release all over social media and SiriusXM's their page as well. And then there's a 1-week voting period from April 7th to April 14th. So I'm just really hoping that people can go and check that out. Follow me on social media and vote for your favorite. Hopefully it's me. I'll need all the help I can get in Manitoba. So yeah, we'll vote 1-week period, April 7th to April 14th.
Well, Katie, we're so proud of you, and we'll definitely have you back when you win the top prize. Thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Here's a look outside now, Portage Avenue at Polo Park. It looks like things are already moving well, and pretty much the traffic, the drive downtown has slowed down quite a bit in this part of the city. We'll be back after this short break.
Looking outside, we're seeing just pockets where the sun shines through those clouds, so we'll hopefully see more of that throughout the day today. Overall, it is mainly cloudy still, and -13, but feeling like -23 because that breeze is noticeable. 23 clicks out of the north-northeast. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. So yes, there's just a bit of a chill from that breeze this morning, which may ease somewhat. Like I said, our better chance of seeing some sunshine will come as the day goes on, because these heavier clouds are going to start to clear on out of the way. Maybe not though through central Manitoba. It could stay cloudy with some scattered snow, but careful what you wish for, because where it is clear, northern Manitoba, incredibly cold. Extreme cold warnings have been issued by Environment Canada as you're waking up to wind chill values in the low to mid -40s this morning. Now we too will experience a slightly below seasonal day, so not as balmy as it was yesterday by any means, but also nothing extreme about it. -4 would be a normal daytime high. We're probably going to top out at about -8 today, with, like I said, increasing sunshine as the day goes on and the clouds begin to break up and clear somewhat, dropping then down to -11 overnight with a north wind only about 15 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, those winds, they'll be increasing all over again, pretty gusty at times, up to 50 kilometers per hour. And again, the temperatures slightly below seasonal, but for the rest of the week, we're back up to pretty much what is normal for this time of year. I mentioned -4 being seasonal, so that's the zone that will be in Thursday, Friday. But look at the weekend with some sunshine, plus digit temperatures are expected. All of that ahead, a little bit of precipitation that could move in by Monday.
A North End grocery store has gone up in flames. Crews found heavy smoke and flames coming from Bannerman Grocery when they arrived shortly before 7:30 Monday morning. They launched an exterior attack using an aerial ladder and hand lines to pour water on the fire. Neighboring houses were evacuated as a precaution. The building sustained severe damage and will be torn down. The city says it was vacant and had been damaged by a previous fire last month. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. The Winnipeg Police Service has gone over its books and is reporting it's actually under budget for the year 2025. According to a new report to the police board, the service was actually $10 million over budget for a number of different provincially funded initiatives last year. However, the report says it was offset by revenue of the same value. In addition, police found $2 million in overtime savings. And while there were fewer total tickets issued, there was an increase in photo radar tickets in construction zones. Combined with other savings, Winnipeg Police ended the 2025 fiscal year $1.7 million under budget. A major expansion is planned for Stonewall. A new Red River co-op and hundreds of new homes are in the works for 50 acres of land on the eastern side of town. The mayor says it will help keep money in the bedroom community.
I believe that having that residential growth will not only attract people here, but also keep people here.
Right now, it's just a snow-covered field on Stonewall's eastern edge, but the town says that could soon change. Whiteland Real Estate is planning a mixed-use development called the Quarry District on 50 acres. Phase 1, a $40 million investment, would bring a 26,000 square foot Red River co-op as the anchor tenant, with more commercial space to follow. A future phase could add about 500 residential units, including single-family and seniors housing. Mayor Sandra Smith calls it a transformative investment and hopes it will keep residents shopping local instead of heading into Winnipeg. But not everyone supports the plan.
It is a small knit community, and making it bigger is just going to take away from that.
According to the mayor, the town is on the hook for just over $1 million for water, sewer, and drainage services as part of a cost-sharing agreement. You can learn new skills and meet new people, all while helping out at one of Winnipeg's most popular destinations this summer. The Assiniboine Park Conservancy is looking for volunteers to fill a wide range of roles at the park and zoo. That includes as ambassadors, visitor services, special events and assistants, and more. There's even roles geared towards teens. It's worth noting volunteers are not involved in the feeding or handling of animals. The application deadline is May 31st. You can learn more and apply by visiting assiniboinepark.ca. While Canada debates the decision over which new fighter jet to add to its aging fleet, Sweden is making the case for its top warplane. CTV's Geneviève Bushme is on board with the Swedish Air Force for a closer look.
The Swedish Air Force is on a milestone mission, taking on lead air policing duties over Iceland for the very first time. The plan was to lower the ramp of its Hercules transport plane to give the press a look, showing off its Gripen fighter jets in action. But poor weather scrapped that air-to-air operation, making it too risky for a peacetime maneuver.
It's really gusting.
Lieutenant Colonel Robin Arvidsson is a Swedish fighter pilot and squadron commander.
But some days it's just too windy to fly, and it's not because the aircraft can't handle it in the air. It's because if we have to eject, we don't want to hurt ourselves.
Sweden's Saab, maker of the Gripen, has been courting Canada, hoping to land a contract. Last year, Ottawa launched a review of its deal to purchase F-35s from U.S. manufacturer Lockheed Martin, and several defense experts argue that advanced fighter is best suited to defend Canada. The Swedish Air Force says the Gripen is built for this mission, a frequent flyer in the north.
Since the Gripen is designed by a Swedish company, of course the climate is no problem, and Canada also has harsh climate sometimes.
And the Swedish Air Force, marking a century this year, is training to show its fighter jets and its operations as a whole fit in with its NATO allies.
We have prepared for 98 out of the 100 years to defend Sweden, of course, but to do it alone and do it from Swedish territory, and that is becoming a more and more difficult task.
For both Sweden and Canada, allies are key to defend the region from Russia's Arctic ambitions and China's increasing interest in the region. Sweden's rotation in Iceland is expected to stretch into mid-March, and Canada's decision on its fleet of fighter jets, well, we don't know when that decision will come. Geneviève Bushme, CTV News, in the skies over Iceland.
Here's a look at what's happening now at Kenniston Boulevard. Things are moving well here. We have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is $1.32. It's the same in Winnipeg, and the lowest price in the city is $1.11. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. It's time now for your answers to our question of the day. Today is World Wildlife Day, and we asked, what are your favorite wild animals? Susan says, I love sloths. Cheryl likes elephants and wild cats such as lions and tigers. Ray's favorite animal is polar bears. Marlene loves seeing deer, her favorite, and also eagles. Albino tiger, says Janet. And Jan says giraffes are my favorite animals. Saw them in Kenya many years ago. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail. I'm not going to call you a wild animal, even though it would be a nice segue. Good morning.
I feel like one at the ballet. Oh my gosh. I stand out like a sore thumb, but that's okay. I'm a spectator. I'm going to enjoy it like the rest of you. Sleeping Beauty. I hope you guys go get tickets to that 12th to the 15th. It's happening. And I'm chatting with the lead right now, Aurora, the Sleeping Beauty, of course, played by Kira Sue. Thank you so much for being here. It's your very first time leading in this particular role. How does it feel?
It's pretty exciting. It's definitely a very big an honor and opportunity because it's a very iconic ballet and such a difficult role. It's a lot to work on, but it's really exciting.
When it comes to the behind the scenes and all of that, a lot to work on elements, what does that look like for you?
A lot of rehearsals, so usually about 6 hours a day for the past couple weeks and right up until the shows. Working on different sections with different partners and solos and lots of point shoes to be going through. So,
what have you been enjoying most about this character in particular?
I think it's really fun to reimagine myself as that sweet, innocent little 16-year-old who's, having the birthday party and super excited for, all that her future has to come for it to turn, quite dark very quickly. So it's a fun duality to play with some more romantic parts in the second act. And then obviously a nice happy ending, so.
No doubt. I think it would be great to bring the kids as well. When it comes to this production, for someone who hasn't seen it, what do you hope they go away with and take away from it all?
I think Sleeping Beauty is such a timeless classical ballet, and I think that the essence of the technicality with the music and costume scenery, it's just a very specific kind of beauty that I think that ballet can really capture, and so I hope that people get a little taste of that and why we as dancers love it so much.
You're honestly glowing. How does it make you feel?
I'm super excited. Yeah, my Aurora debut is something I've dreamed of for a long time, so it's really an honor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet, and if you can't catch that or the tickets sell out for some reason, everybody go buy them. There's going to be some other productions too for the series finale. Back to you, Rochelle.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Yeah, it looks like it's a little breezy and chilly out there.
Well, a little bit of both, but it's also a little bit brighter. Some blue sky above. And yeah, if I'm looking up, having to shield myself from the sun, which I wasn't even seeing up until now. It's been up for over an hour now, but the heavier clouds moved in earlier this morning, and it's taken its sweet time now before we're starting to see that. But yeah, grab the sunglasses because we're probably going to be seeing more of that throughout the day today. It's -13, feels like -23 with a 23 wind out of the north-northeast. The pressure falling and the humidity is sitting at 84%. It isn't going to be anywhere near as warm as it was yesterday. It felt like spring yesterday. My goodness, those temperatures soared. It was beautiful. It was balmy. That's not going to be the case today, but it's also not going to be extremely cold like it was over this past weekend, although I say that I'm talking about Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba because extreme cold warnings are still in place across much of northern Manitoba, and you're waking up to wind chill values in the mid-40s right now. It's clear across the north, but it is incredibly cold. Where it's not clear, that's central Manitoba with heavier clouds expected. You could also probably see some scattered flurries throughout the day today. Here in the south, yes, it will continue to clear, but the temperatures remaining slightly below seasonal. -4, that would be normal for this time of year. We're probably going to be stopping at about -8. That'll be the case both today and tomorrow, too. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
A creative winter initiative is helping turn a frozen resource into a warm economic boost for Flin Flon and the area. A new snow lodge is drawing attention from around the world. CTV's Carla Shinkarik reports.
One of Canada's only snow lodges.
What may look like simple blocks of ice are actually the building blocks of a bigger winter vision in Flin Flon.
It's living up to its promise because it is profoundly beautiful.
But not just that. This is one of Canada's only snow lodges and is helping to strengthen tourism. But the idea has skeptics because the area has seen such devastation due to wildfires.
This is exactly what we should be doing, is showing resilience and showing the world that even if you go through tough times, you can absolutely do something perhaps a little crazy, but wonderful and fascinating and with excellence.
And travel writer Ashlyn George gives the community huge kudos for taking this on.
To take advantage of our winter season with all the activities that you can do is something that I think more communities need to do. I think Flin Flon, Denair Beach, and Creighton are leading the way when it comes to supporting people who want to come up for winter tourism.
And this engineering marvel built at the local campground required clear ice. The search for that perfect ice led them just meters away.
Well, let me go check this pond that's right near where our project's going to be, and nobody ever thought that would be the place where we're going to use it from.
By sourcing the ice locally, crews streamlined the process and reduced costs, carefully cutting and moving each 100-kilogram block into place. The project incorporates Indigenous artists with history of trapping in the area also represented. The Snow Lodge is already gaining national and international attention with inquiries coming in.
It's a really beautiful beacon of hope and resilience after such a tough year.
It's hoped that an overnight accommodation will be added in the coming years also. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An international film festival for the entire family, and the Freeze Frame Film Festival is celebrating its 30th anniversary. It features films from around the world in both French and English. And joining us now from the Freeze Frame Film Festival is the co-founder, Pascal Boutrois. Good morning, Pascal.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, it's been 30 years since this all started. You are the co-founder of the festival. Tell us what started this whole thing for you.
Well, actually, it's my wife and I. We started this festival. We had children, and we looked at what kind of films you could see in Winnipeg because we were moving back from Montreal at the time. And we realized that in some ways, Winnipeg was a very diverse place with people coming from many different backgrounds, culturally speaking. But at the same time, you couldn't see films that would emulate this diversity. So I had been working for an international organization dealing with children's film and television around the world. And I had the contact and I said, well, let's create a children's film festival in Winnipeg. And it started from there. That was 30 years ago.
Wow. And so what does the Freeze Frame Film Festival look like exactly?
Well, usually it's 1 week of films, award-winning films from different parts of the world. We're showing about, 10, 12 different programs. Usually there are films in different language, but we show them in either in French or in English. About 60% of our programming will be in English version, subtitles or dubbed films, and 40% in French. We have films from the little kids, like the Co-Hudeman short films, and films for older kids, and like the Zacharias Kunuk Wrong Husband, which is the latest film by the great Inuit filmmaker, for the older one. So it's for all age group, and it's a lot of fun. So there is on the weekend it's for the general audience, and during the week we have a great school program. Lots of schools come and see the films. Very intense. The general public can come and see the films too, but they should check that there is still room. There's a lot of sold out screenings during the week.
That's incredible. So in 30 years, have you seen it really change over time? Do you see more and more people checking it out?
Well, the change that I've seen is one that I actually don't enjoy that much. We really started the festival thinking that it would be like a family affair. So basically, family comings, parents, grandparents, children to see the films. And over the years, especially in the last 10, 15 years, it's really the school program that developed so much. So on the weekend, unfortunately for me, we see less families coming, and it's too bad because a lot of these films are really a lot of fun to discuss after. Well, first to watch with your family and then to discuss after. So it's my regret, but it's. But at the same time, the school programs has developed exponentially.
Okay, well, the festival runs from March the 8th to the 14th at the Franco-Manitoban Cultural Center. Of course, if parents are watching, weekends are really great for the whole family. Thank you, Pascal. Merci.
Thank you.
We have an update now to a deadly house fire in Winnipeg's Lord Roberts neighborhood. Police say an 81-year-old man has been found dead inside the home on Nassau Street South. The fire broke out late Saturday night. Crews were forced to fight it from outside because of heavy flames. After it was brought under control, crews searched the home and recovered the victim. Major Crimes is now investigating. The fire is not considered suspicious.
All right, it's minus 13 outside this morning. It feels like minus 23. We have a wind out of the north-northeast at 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, humidity sitting at 84%. We have some heavier clouds hanging over us this morning. They have been there all morning long, just now beginning to break up a little bit, and moments of sunshine. I think we can expect to see a little bit more of that sunshine as the day goes on. It's certainly been very clear across northern Manitoba, but incredibly cold. So while you are seeing the sun shining over the north, you're also waking up to wind chill values in the low to mid minus 40s and those extreme cold warnings that have been issued once again by Environment Canada. Central Manitoba will probably remain cloudy with a little bit of light snow. But as I mentioned, we'll see increasing amounts of sunshine today. Highs just shy of the seasonal minus 4. We'll top out at about minus 8 both today and tomorrow. Tomorrow coming with some much stronger winds. Toward the end of the week, back to seasonal temperatures. And for the weekend, that's where the big warm up comes, pushing up into the plus digits both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back right after this.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to show you a sweet new treat that has arrived to the Arizona Zoo.
Her name, she does look like a little jelly bean, and Jelly Bean is so much fun to watch. She'll still get her little zoomies just like, our dogs at home.
Aww. Baby pygmy hippo Jelly Bean was welcomed to the world. She got her name in a public contest with candy-themed naming options to match her mother, who is Lollipop, and her father, who is Tootsie Roll. Pygmy hippos are endangered, so Jelly Bean will serve as an ambassador to her species by giving wildlife caretakers a better look at how to protect pygmy hippos.
Oh, okay, I was just about to say, I wanted to see a video of the zoomies. Was that it, the little trot?
I just want to hold it. Now, this pup proves that persistence pays off.
It's not a house hippo. Oh my goodness.
Look at her. Millie fought from day one when her owners tried to crate train her, and she won. Now she sleeps on the bed, on the couch, and really anywhere she wants. And in any position she wants. And then, have you ever been caught doing something simple like math using a calculator? Probably.
What are you doing? Texting. Texting who? My sister.
This boy's expressions are the best. Mom and son doing an amazing performance. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.